We made it another week, guys. Woohoo! Yeah, it's Tuesday again. Bit of gardening. We've got the beginning of Mental Health Awareness Week this week, so we're going to be keeping ourselves well occupied. And yeah, why not do some gardening? Get ourselves out, get ourselves in the fresh air, taking care of things. Good food for the mind. Yeah, speaking of food, I think today I'm going to teach us how to make some plant feed out of some of our lovely nettles. As you may have guessed, they're quite versatile things, nettles. They're quite high in iron and nitrogen, so they're class for your plants to grow. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little forage. We'll start with that off. I've got a little technique that our lovely studio manager put my way of getting them. So we'll make some plant feed, and I've got loads of a beetroot that's kind of overcrowded, so we're going to be learning how to prick them out and move them either to a different plot or into pots. I think I'll put them into pots though and give them around to people that don't have any beetroots and want them to start growing them in their own little plots. So yeah, all we're going to be needing first things of all is our trusty gloves. We're going to need a plastic bag and a bucket of sorts. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. It'll take a couple of weeks for it for the nutrients to get out into the water. So I'll see you over there foraging for some nettles and catch you soon. Gloves on. So we've hit up the regular nettle spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our plastic bag to try and gather as much of these nettles as possible. After discussions about, because we tend to use quite a lot of nettles, we're chatting about it, and yeah, this seemed like the most logical idea, and I was like, oh, I didn't think of that myself. So it's a good way to protect yourself from the nettle stings, and you can gather quite a lot in a small space of time. So what you're going to do is just stick your both hands inside the bag, cover the nettles, grab and pull. Okay, don't want much of them roots. Yep. And once you've got these out, you can empty them into your bucket and get as much of these leaves as possible. No stings. Score. Okay, so we're going to collect these, another batch. So you want to kind of fill as much of the bucket as possible with your nettles. These are going to be our start of our food for our plants. So as much of the leaves as possible, and we're going to take these back and fill it with. So we have our bucket of nettles. So what we're going to do is we're just going to simply cover this with water. Try and get as much as possible in. It's usually about 50-50. It's good to use rainwater, but if you don't have rainwater, you just use it from the tap, and you simply going to just be filling this bucket up, submerging it all in water, and yeah, that's going to be left outside to kind of draw all the nutrients out from the nettles. It'll take a couple of weeks, but fortunately, here's one I made earlier. Ta-da! Now, there we go. I'm not going to lie, it stinks. It doesn't smell the best, but it's great for your plant food. Great feed for your plants. So this is going to be awesome for the things you're growing in your greenhouses, guys. Things like it'll feed your chilies that you've got going really well. Any peppers you got. Tomatoes, great feed for that. So the nitrogen and the iron really helps them grow. And I'm really catching that smell. It really does stink. So I'll teach you how to use that when we're transplanting. Normally, if you're filling a watering can, you will put about a tablespoon in to about 5 litres of water. Most watering cans are about 5 litres anyway, so yeah, that's your ratio that you're wanting to do. Don't use it all the time. I tend to use it for about every 2 weeks maybe, because you don't want it to be overloaded with these nutrients, and it can affect the plants in the growth. So yeah, let's get outside, let's do some pricking out and transplanting, and yeah, next step, see you outside. And I've been clicking fingers a lot. Right, see you outside. So here we're at our lovely beetroot plot. I've noticed we've got quite a lot of weeds in here. So what I'm going to do is, because the seedlings are a lot more established, we can differentiate between what's a weed and what's not. The good thing about beetroot is that you can tell from a mile off what they look like. We've got a beautiful deep reddy purple vein running through the leaf. So if it doesn't have that, that's the stuff that needs to go. So for example, none, go. So we need to separate these to be about 10 to 15 centimetres apart, because beetroot are a root vegetable. They need a lot of room under the surface to grow. So we're going to dig these out, we're going to prick them out using our aptly named wonderful planty namey thingy-majiggery stick, which was, this one was used for pansies apparently. Bunch of pansies. So I'm going to choose the one at the back. So there'll be about 4 or 5 leaves that run into the shoot. So what we're going to do is, we're just going to, about 3 centimetres from the root, we're just going to delicately pull up the root, loosen the soil around it, so we don't kill any of the roots. So we've got lots of root there, and that's good to go. So I've filled a pot with compost, and just going to pad that down, and then that's a good space for it to grow. You'll get one beetroot from here, so we're going to do the same, and I'm going to prick out all of these. And what we want to do is, we want to use our lovely nettle solution, our fertilizer, filled our watering can and literally poured it in, give it a little mix around. And you don't want this water to be going or hitting the leaves, so I've taken the nozzle off and just filled that with a bit of water, so that gives the time a bit of a chance to thrive. So yeah, I'm going to run through all these, and then we'll have a look at how it looks. Again, you want to get rid of as much of these weeds as possible, because they're going to sap all the nutrients from your soil, and really not let these beautiful beetroots get to our plate in a couple of weeks. So I'll show you. So we've thinned it out quite a bit. So I've been removing some of them, and see how the roots are really starting to kind of come along. You don't have to just put it in pots, you can space it out, more social spacing or social distancing for your plants. So it's simply, make sure your soil's quite wet, and just dig a hole with your hand or a trowel about 6 inches deep, and then you're just going to place the plant inside, roots facing down obviously, and then pat it down again about 10 to 15 centimetres apart, and that'll give the roots a really good space to kind of grow, and we'll hopefully have some produce in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to use the exact same amount of water to try not to hit the leaves, and just moisten the soil around it. So yeah, that's our starter for pricking out. You can use pretty much anything. You don't have to use the technical term of namey thingy stick. You can use a pencil. The seeds have to be well established. They'll have at least 2 leaves on it, otherwise you might kind of affect the roots of how it's grown. But pencils, you can use it's like a thin part of a rough side of a knife. Make sure not to, the trick is not to damage the roots, not to kind of go too close to the roots, otherwise they'll not be able to establish when they've been repotted into the ground. So yeah, that's our pricking out, and our nettle feed. Canny day. So I want to see your garden some more, guys. I think it's good seeing what yous are growing. Let us know how yous are getting on, and stay awesome. You've been so class these past couple of weeks. It's, as I said, it's Mental Health Awareness Week, so let's keep ourselves positive. Let's enjoy our time in the house, and getting our exercise in that we can be doing. Gardens, do that. You can keep up with the creativity as well, guys. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.